All right, I'm attempting to do something way above my pay grade right now. I want to create some visuals and first also start with the fruit, like an outline, kind of a where are we going? Because the one thing about this book that I'm going over, Esoteric Psychology, I realize that I keep calling it Esoteric Astrology because that's the book I was trying to read before this, and something in my psyche stopped me and said, no, you need to go to this book. And it's almost like it intentionally made that book extra dense so that I couldn't continue. It said, no, you need to start here, which is funny. One of the little diagrams that I'm going to pull up shows and reminded me of an occult or theosophical concept called a ring pass knot. What a ring pass knot is, it's a stage, a set point in your consciousness where you have shut yourself off from going further without breaking through some kind of barrier, without passing some sort of unlocking, basically as a state of your consciousness so that you can move forward. It's a glass ceiling, if you will, or in common psychology, I guess they would call it that state of cognitive dissonance, where you reach a certain point where your understanding has met has created its maximum, output, to where if you go any further, you're going to have to break some sort of a paradigm or shift some sort of an understanding, expand to some sort of place of awareness to where you're going to feel vulnerable again. So it's coming to that point of, I know everything about this. I reached that ring pass knot. Some people stay here and they want to rest in that realm of, I know everything there is to know about X. And then that ring pass knot says, well, do you want to go further? Do you dare to break through and go back to being a novice again? Because there's going to be this whole other realm of things to know when you pass that ring pass knot. And in occult studies, there's multiple ring pass knots. And as you grow and as you evolve, the goal becomes getting to that ring pass knot, being consciously aware of it, and stepping into that unknown very intentionally and intentfully. So I said all that to say, the ring pass knot thing comes up in one of these slides, but I moved over to this book and it was exactly what I needed to be doing, because this instantly clicked and gelled, and it's like I can make sense of this. So this is where I needed to be. So anyway, I wanted to share this next chapter, but I realized in this book that it kind of assumes that the viewer already knows what the fruit is, so they'll be interested, but the fruit being the 7 rays. So this book, Esoteric Psychology, is Alice A. Bailey's discourse on the 7 rays. And most people don't know what those 7 rays are. So when you're talking about all this stuff, and it's just like, what are you even talking about? I think that it would benefit us to go cheat a little bit, jump to the finish line. As they teach us in business school, the WIFM, the WIIFM, what's in it for me? That's the kind of consciousness or psyche that we're under right now. Is basically, I'm not going to listen or go any further until I understand what's in it for me. And what's in it for us in this case is actually really cool, so it's worth doing that. So this website here, universaldharma.com, had this great link to a printable poster that outlines the 7 rays and planes, and that's right here for you. So when we're talking about the 7 rays, these are the 7 divine energies that influence all of humanity and also explain all of humanity, is the claim that is made by this study. So it breaks it down into these first 3 rays, which are broken down into aspects, the rays of aspect, which the description in Master is given here, the Father, the Son, and the Mother. which also aligns very much with spirituality. Many religions have this first breaking down into a triplicity. The first ray is the will or power, the second ray is the ray of love, wisdom, and the third ray is of mathematically exact activity, or it's also considered the ray of I'll find actually how they call it in here. Active intelligence. So to break it down again, so the father aspect, the first ray, people are influenced by all of these rays in different aspects. The book's going to tell us. But the father is the projected power of divinity, right timing, the destroyer, strength, courage, steadfastness. Some people are driven completely by the first ray, which is the ray of will or power. The negative qualities of a person who is primarily first ray would be someone with a lot of pride, mental rigidity, arrogance, desire to control others. And we see this in a lot of people, correct? But the qualities to develop for this first ray type, some of their work in order to master themselves would be to learn tenderness, humility, sympathy, kindness, tolerance, patience, things like that. So moving on down here, the second ray of love and wisdom. And they each have a color association, a chakra association. So the sun, this is of reason, heart of all, the revealer of the path of love, inclusiveness, patience, calmness. Second ray is of love and wisdom. So the negative qualities of this person would be dogmatism, being so caught up in some sort of a dogma or religious fervor, being cold, having self-pity, being indifferent to others, being very vague, contempt of others' mental limitations, a messiah complex, that's a huge one right here. Selfish unselfishness. To develop here would be more love, more compassion, being less selfish, having the energy to implement the right action. Third ray is that active intelligence. This is the mother aspect. The mother is the form, so matter, incarnation, things physical. This third ray is the weaver of karma in time and space. Inclusive reason, clear light of mind, sincerity of purpose, discrimination, abstract mind, patience, philosophic aptitude. Negative qualities of this ray are intellectual pride, being very busy, inaccuracy in details, absent-minded, obstinate, very critical, very selfish, very devious or manipulative, because you can, because you're such a thinker and you act on that ability to manipulate. That could be a negative quality here. So you would want to develop more sympathy, tolerance, more accuracy, broad-mindedness, abstract thought, and more common sense. So this is all very interesting, as you can see. We're not going to go into each of these things, but I'll leave a link in the description to this, this poster so it can be referenced. So this is where we're getting to, right down to the seventh ray, which is ceremony, cyclic activity. This one in the Bailey books is called the Lord of Ceremonial Order or Magic, is the seventh ray. It's about ritual, grounding the will, physical strength, perseverance, divine purpose, magical endeavors, negative qualities. Interesting here, it says being the occultist is a negative quality. Willful self-opinion, prideful purpose, wrongly faceted mind, superficial judgments, obsession with the body form, and sex magic. So this is kind of the negative ideas and aspects that come from the seventh ray influence, where you learn how powerful you are, and then you use that to do essentially what's called the left-hand path or dark black magic. You're using it for selfish gains and to manipulate, which also goes back into the negative aspects of the third ray. So, and makes sense because the third ray deals with the mind. And so in order to be successful at magic, you have to have your mental and your active bodies align. And so we're influenced by multiple of these rays. And so sometimes when people unlock this, they get to this point where they get consumed with things like this, sex magic, which is where you see highly prevalent in the music industry, just the media in general, Hollywood. They are doing a lot of rituals and sucking up a lot of power and energy and using a lot of dark arts to harness all of this sex magic and to control the psyche of the public through this obsession with the body form and sex magic. Qualities to develop to become a master of seventh ray is high esoteric idealism, the realization of unity, broad-mindedness, tolerance, humility, and white magic. So some interesting things here. This is where we're going. Okay. Pause this for a second. And I'll pause the video as well. See what we have.